My wife in a man's hotel room at 1:30 a.m. My wife of nearly 10 years has a history of at least once straying, but that was prior to marriage. There have been other suspicious circumstances, including once when a man, she says he was her DD, stayed overnight at our apartment while I was out of town, but she insists nothing happened. Recently, my wife went to a work conference with several male colleagues. On the first night there, they all went out to the bars. That went well past midnight. We share our locations on our phones and I hadn't heard from her, so I checked her location. She was at a hotel that wasn't hers. I FaceTimed her and she didn't pick up. I called again and she picked up with the phone facing toward the ceiling wall corner, with her from the shoulders up. I heard a male voice for a half second and then complete silence. She was eating a slice of pizza. I asked her what she was doing and she said, eating pizza. I asked her where and she didn't answer. She looked nervous. I asked her to spin the phone around so I could see what was going on. She hung up instead. I called her back and she didn't answer. I called again and she picked up and was walking fast through a hotel hallway. She made it outside and we talked on the way back to her hotel. She was nervously grinning the entire way back. She was very drunk. She was acting sort of angry with me. I'm not sure about what. Angry, I called. Angry at the obvious sort of implied situation. I asked her to explain the situation and she says that she left the bar with two male coworkers to return to a hotel room where another male coworker had pizza. She says that she didn't realize how the situation looked until I called her and that she then panicked. She says that she didn't pan the phone around because she knew I would be upset. When I pointed out that, she immediately told me that she was there with three men, so what information was she hiding by not showing me the room? She then said that she didn't pan the phone around because it would have been embarrassing. I'm trying to figure this out and come to terms with whatever happened. My gut feeling is that maybe she is lying and there was only one man there and they were doing more than eating pizza, or planning on it. Otherwise, my thought is that it is obviously inappropriate and crosses boundaries she knows that I have, so at best it is extremely disrespectful to me and our marriage. I'm trying to figure out if we should get divorced. She insists this is all because she wanted a slice of pizza. Is that realistic? Am I being gaslight? Please help. Edit. Not sure if it really matters all that much, but here are the answers to some questions people have had and also some additional info. All three men she alleges were in the hotel room she also alleges she was with at the bar, doing karaoke. They are all married with kids. She is in a position of authority in the organization and is at least 2 levels above them. They are all older than her. It's a male-dominated field. Her boss was there but left earlier in the night. On her way back to her hotel, about 20 seconds after leaving the first hotel, a man approached her telling her she was going the wrong way. I was on FaceTime. She says that was one of the men from the room and he must have chased her out. The situation from before marriage, she just disclosed to me last year. She gave me all 3 phone numbers so I could verify. I'm pretty sure there will be terrible career consequences for her if I do so. I'm also not certain I could trust their word anyway. The DD from years ago was also before marriage and he drove her car, which is a partial explanation but obviously still incredible bullshit. She did tell me about that the day after, but I think she was concerned I would find out some other way. I asked and she said that she would be willing to take a polygraph and also that she would sign an agreement that she would not get to keep anything beyond her retirement and personal effects in divorce if she were to fail, although I doubt that would be enforceable. She says she wants to go to counseling and quit drinking. I'm not sure if there is anything else to add at this point.
The wife of my husband's cousin hits on him a month before our wedding and now she wants to meet for coffee. Long story short, my husband Steven's cousin Dave and his wife Daisy were married in 2019. We have been very close to Dave and Daisy throughout the years. We were even part of their wedding party. We always went on vacations together to bars, to parties, concerts. We went on double dates to restaurants, the beach, had dinner parties, overall spent a lot of time together. Steven and I got engaged in 2021 and we decided to get married 11/2022. A month before our wedding I met with Daisy for brunch while Steven went for his final suit fitting with Dave. Dave was his best man. To say the least, brunch with Daisy consisted of bottomless mimosas. She didn't make it to my bachelorette party in Europe, and she told me the timing of my baccalaureate conflicted with her work schedule, and she was not quite sure where she fit into my life. I told her I considered her one of my closest friends, but not to worry, no hard feelings. She told me she considered me one of her closest friends too, but stated that she felt Steven didn't like her much. I told her that was ridiculous and that Steven absolutely did love her. She then said Dave has told her she makes more sense with Steven, while Dave makes more sense with me. Steven is very attractive, and so is Daisy, and I responded with I can see that you both are very hot, and let it go. Dave and I guess are pretty average-looking sensitive beings. I thought it was funny. The man picked us up after brunch and we went to a bar. We were talking about investments and the future. When I asked Steven if he loved Daisy and he said sure. Daisy left to the bathroom. We then migrated to another bar to meet with Daisy's brother, as he was going to play the guitar as I walked down the aisle on our wedding day. By the time we got to the next bar, Daisy and I were pretty drunk. I noticed that Dave seemed upset and that Steven was talking to him. I asked Daisy what was going on and she said Dave saw she had texted Steven and he got upset. She swore she did not say anything inappropriate in the messages, but Dave now thinks they are having an affair. She swore she was talking to Steven about my bridal shower. I told her it's ridiculous that Dave feels that way, he should have nothing to worry about, and I assured her I would never think there was anything between her and Steven. When we left the bar, Dave still seemed upset, but he wanted to go elsewhere. However, Steven said we had to go. On the way to our car, I asked Steven why would Dave think he and Daisy were having an affair? He said I don't know, she was texting me gibberish all night. So I asked to see the messages and he said he deleted them. This happened when Apple had released a new update where recently deleted messages could be recovered on iMessage. I received a spam text while in the car and proceeded to delete it. iMessage notified me of the new function with the update. So I told Steven with the new update you can recover recently deleted text messages. He recovered the messages and it turns out that when she went to the bathroom at the second bar we were at, right after I asked Steven if he loved her, she texted Steven saying they needed to talk. Steven asked why sure after the wedding but that he did love her with a smiling emoji at the end. She said it could not wait until after the wedding. Daisy then asked if they were in a soap opera. He asked her what was she talking about and she asked him not to make her say it. He proceeded to say he was confused and she finally said that she wanted him. He asked since when and she said since always. He told her we will talk, delete these messages. She asked when, he said tomorrow. She said she was anxious and nervous but will wait till the next day. She sent some gibberish texts after that. He asked her again to delete the messages and mention they will talk. She then said I'm so over you and he responded with that was fast. I looked up at Steven after reading the messages and said this is not gibberish. She said she wanted you. He said I know and I got furious. I was yelling in front of my app building because I felt so betrayed and stupid. Steven's responses to her can be interpreted many ways, but he claimed he was trying to do damage control because we were all so close and we're friends. He swore he did not mean his responses in any harmful way, but I told him deleting the messages made him look suspicious and why didn't he tell me right away? He said I was drunk and he was not sure how I would react, and Dave is obsessed with a Daisy and he did not know how he would react in the moment either as we all were drinking, which is why he told her they would talk the next day because he was so unsure of everyone's reactions and needed to play it safe. The next day we got a text from Dave asking to meet for coffee to talk. He said Daisy mentioned to him she might have sent some inappropriate messages to Steven but she couldn't remember what and it appears her messages were deleted. Steven refused to meet. A few days later Steven spoke to Daisy via text and sent her the screenshots of the messages. She apologized profusely and took accountability for her actions. She showed the messages to Dave and Dave sent a message to Steven about how she and Daisy spoke and they are addressing the problem. How Daisy had panic attacks over the situation and they were wanting to meet to meditate and talk. That he knew that person that night was not the real Daisy and that's why he can be protective of her when she drinks. We did not meet with them. Our wedding was only a few weeks away, and we wanted to focus on each other. Dave was insisting of backing out of attending the wedding due to the situation, but he was the best man. Daisy texted me apologizing for her betrayal and said she felt she should opt out the wedding. I told her if she did, Steven's best man would not show up on one of the most important days of his life, but that it was their choice if they showed up for Steven or not. She asked me if our friendship had the possibility of being saved, and I said I needed time. They went to the wedding. I was a super drunk bride, and at the end of the night I grabbed her into a tight hug and whispered in her ear, "I forgive you, but I will F you up." We saw them once for more Friendsgiving and it was awkward. I couldn't control my iciness, and am not sure if I really do forgive her. Daisy asked me to meet with her on this coming Sunday for coffee. It's been 5 months now. I agreed, but how to feel or how I am going to feel when I see her again. Any thoughts?